The Pacific Northwest Trail, now designated as the Pacific Northwest National Scenic Trail, is a 1,200-mile hiking trail running from the Continental Divide in Montana, through the northern panhandle of Idaho, to the Pacific coast of Washington's Olympic Peninsula. It traverses the Rocky Mountains, Selkirk Mountains, Pasayten Wilderness, North Cascades, Olympic Mountains, and Wilderness Coast. The trail crosses 3 national parks and 7 national forests. The trail was designated a National Scenic Trail in 2009. The U.S. Department of Agriculture administers the trail. It forms part of the 6,875-mile Great Western Loop. The Pacific Northwest Trail is considered to be one of the most challenging trails in the National Scenic Trail system. The trail is growing in popularity due to its outstanding scenic qualities and challenging terrain, with an increasing number of hikers every year. History. The trail's route was first conceived and explored by Ron Strickland in 1970. In 1977, Strickland founded the Pacific Northwest Trail Association, the organization that oversees education, maintenance, and fundraising for the PNT. In 2002, the North Cascades National Park Ross Lake National Recreation Area segment was designated a National Recreation Trail. The Olympic National Park segment received this designation in 2003, and the Glacier National Park segment received the same designation in 2005. The PNT struggled to gain recognition as a National Scenic Trail for years. On March 30, 2009, President Barack Obama signed into law the Bill H.R. 146 Omnibus Public Land Management Act of 2009, which included the addition of the PNT as a National Scenic Trail, and named the Department of Agriculture as administrator of the trail. Description of the route. Beginning at Chief Mountain Customs on the United States-Canadian border in central Montana, the Pacific Northwest Trail traverses the high mountains and valleys of Glacier National Park, travels across the Flathead River, up the Whitefish Divide, and through the Ten Lakes Scenic Area. It then crosses Lake Coocanyusa and winds its way through the Purcell Mountains, the Yark River, Northwest Peak Scenic Area, and down to the Moy River in northeast Idaho. As the PNT leaves the Moy River Valley, it winds its way through forestlands, dikes, and farmlands of the Kootenai River Valley, up Parker Creek to the Selkirk Crest, and down Lions Head into the Priest Lake State Forest. The trail continues over Lookout Mountain to Upper Priest Lake and through the Salmo Priest Wilderness. It then travels over the Boundary Dam on the Pendo Ray River, and then continues over Abercrombie Mountain and into the bustling little town of Northport, Washington on the Columbia River. Next, the trail wanders along the Kettle Crest, through the mining and forested areas of north-central Washington and into the rangelands and orchards of the Okanagan River Valley, from the city of Oroville, Washington, and along the Similkameen River to Palmer Lake. The trail begins its ascent into a large wilderness area, the Pasayten Wilderness. The Pasayten, coupled with the adjacent North Cascades National Park, provides some of the most remote country available in the lower 48 United States. The trail continues through the Mount Baker Wilderness, then federal, state, and private timberlands and down to the shores of Puget Sound, along the dikes and through the farmlands of Skagit County. The trail crosses Fidalgo Island across the Bridget Deception Pass State Park and over Whidbey Island to the Washington State Ferry Terminal at Keystone. After a 30-minute ferry ride, the trail picks up in the quaint seaside community of Port Townsend, Washington, and the confluence of three trails: the Larry Scott Trail, the Olympic Discovery Trail, and the Pacific Northwest Trail. The trails circumnavigate the northeastern tip of the Olympic Peninsula and Discovery Bay before going the separate directions, with the PNT turning southwest through the Olympic National Forest, Buckhorn Wilderness, and into Olympic National Park. As the trail leaves the park and travels along the Bogachiel River, it finds its way through to the northern end of the Hoh Rainforest to the Pacific Ocean at the mouth of the Hoh River. The trail turns north and wanders along the Pacific coast before entering the Quiute Indian Reservation at Lapush before completing its westward journey at Cape Alava. Other protected areas through which the PNT passes: Glacier National Park, Flathead National Forest, Kootenai National Forest, Idaho Panhandle National Forest, Colville National Forest, Okanagan National Forest, North Cascades National Park, Mount Baker Snoqualmie National Forest, Deception Pass State Park, Bayview State Park, Joseph Whitby State Park, Fort Eby State Park, Eby's Landing National Historical Reserve, Fort Casey State Park, Olympic National Forest, Olympic National Park.